Hello, welcome to DamsTV and welcome to the first episode of Smooth Finish. It's a podcast that's going to answer some questions about the weekly videos. So you've watched the videos all week and I've had questions and I'm not very good at answering. I'm not very good at answering with a computer because I'm a bit dyslexic. That's why I'm a plasterer. So bear with me when you do ask questions and I don't get an answer because I think, how do I answer that? I'm not very good at explaining in words the answer. So that's why I don't. The long ones that you see are usually my wife's come over and said, do you want a lift? And because she's like Champions League with grammar and English and things like that. That's why we work so well, I suppose. Behind every good YouTuber, there has to be a good wife. Never a true word spoken. So, what I'm going to talk about is the last video. I got quite a few questions that I answered and I got some questions that I couldn't really answer properly. So, so here goes basically. Welcome to Smooth Finish, the DamsTV podcast. So I'm going to talk about that video I did this week. I think I only did one this week where it was like a prefab bungalow from the war, but it wasn't. It is brick. When I first saw the job, when I first went to see this builder's, I was like, it's actually the builder's house. He bought it for himself to live in because he's renting. And we're all saying to him, stop renting. What are you doing? Buy a house, do it up and live in it. You've got an house then, you're not bloody renting. So he's finally come round to our idea. You know, I've told him, the plumbers told him, the brickies have told him, the joiners have told him. So anyway, so the house, someone said, oh, that's a big job. And it is quite a big job, but it's not in one respect. When you look at the bungalow, it looks like, it looks longer than it is. It's actually two. There's actually a next door to it that you just can't see because of the trees. So it's only half as big as you see the building. There's actually two there. So then it's not very wide. So there's like the room we've skimmed, which is a bedroom and an ensuite. Then the middle room, which is a kitchen. Then there's a hallway and there's going to be another bedroom and an ensuite because his daughter's moving in with him. He's planning to put an extension on the back at some point to sort of double the size of it and double his money, double his return, which probably makes sense. So the ensuite that I did is not staying in the end sort of product. That's not going to be there. It's going to be moved further back to the actual extension. So that's why, one, we've not used moisture boards. Two, he's not tiling it. In the shower area, he's just going to put 3 of them like waterproof PVC plastic board sheets, which are fine. They're just as good, I suppose. So that's the answer. Someone said, why has he not used moisture boards? Well, that's the answer, pal. Why would you use moisture boards when you're not tiling it and you're ripping it out? It's extra expense you don't really need. Because they're quite dear, moisture boards. And they're not waterproof like people think. Next time I get a piece, I will put plasterboard in water and moisture boards in water. And yeah, there is a difference. Yeah, they do take a bit more damage. But they're not waterproof as in a concrete cement board or, you know, something like that. Excuse me. Something like that is waterproof. So they're not like a cement board or a proper cement based board. They're not waterproof in that respect. I just got interrupted by my little lad there. The youngest one, the next plasterer. He maybe not. He's going to be an astrophysicist, he says. Oh, flipping heck. Right, so what am I talking about? Yeah. So that's the reason. It's probably 10 days work in the bungalow. It's not going to be much more than that, I don't think. I might even get it done quicker. I'm there next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then have a conservatory warm roof on Friday. From memory, anyway, if memory serves me right. The other thing is, a guy reached out and asked me about, he's getting a lot of ripping. He said he was a self-taught, I can't remember your name, sorry. It'll come to me. I know it's a Nottingham Forest badge. I can't think of his name. Should have really looked. Bad performance that day, Mo. Bad performance. So really, he asked me about, he's self-taught, which is fine. He's probably watched YouTube, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that if you can do it. That's why we put these videos out, so you can sort of teach yourselves. Probably could do with, I'm probably saying, I'm not, please don't get offended. Could probably do with going with a plasterer for a couple of weeks. You know, someone like myself that's got a lot of experience and can just say, right, you're doing that wrong, do it this way. Or, you know, just something simple that you're not doing that a plasterer would say, oh, it's this, it's that. I'm trying to give you an example, but I can't really. Like there was a thing the other week with Liam, and I saw him doing something, and I was, what are you doing that for? And there was just something he said, because you've never showed me, and it was like, all right, no, I can't think what it was, what he was doing. And I pulled him, and he went, well, I didn't know. And I thought, that's bad on me, innit, for not teaching him correct. But my method of teaching is, there's an handboard and trail, fill your boots, just try and get it on. I'll show him the basics, and just try and get on, see how you do, and then I can see what he's doing wrong and go, no, do this, do that. Rather than show him, maybe I should have just showed him, but make him watch and then go and do. Maybe I'll do that with the next apprentice, if I ever get one. There is talk of getting an apprentice, but who knows? It's getting a kid, innit, that wants to be an apprentice. But we'll not go with that. That's a video for another subject about apprentices and apprenticeships and keeping the trade going. Because they are trying to make the trade easier, aren't they? They are definitely trying to make it, take the skill out of the trade. That's what they're doing, so they don't have to pay you as much. It's as simple as that. So we need to keep the trade going. The other thing that he was mentioning was that his plaster keeps tearing. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, what can it be? It can only be, it could be the multi-finish. Multi-finish lately is murder for tearing. It tears for fun. So it tears a lot when you put too much angle on your trowel. So what I tend to do when it gets to that stage, so you put on, look at me lashing around with trowel, you put it on, don't you? You lay it in, so you've done your 2 coats, 2 decent coats, but not too thick, but obviously not too thin. I find if I've not mixed enough, I murder. I don't want to mix again. So I'll try and I'll start being a bit tighter with it and spreading it a bit thinner. So then I find, oh, it's tear a bit there, you know, because it's thin and it dries a bit too quick. So we've got the finish that can tear, multi-finish, can tear for fun. If it's too thin, which I mentioned in the comments, if it's too thin, it can tear. If you're mixing 2 coats, 2 separate coats, then maybe it's pulling in a bit too quick. If you've not gone over it, if you've got a big ceiling on and you've not gone over it quick enough, not put your second coat on quick enough, it can tear off the first coat. I'd have to maybe see it to see, again, you know, see what's happening. Why is it doing this? And then I can say, it's this. You can put water on it, but I tend to wet the trowel. So I tend to brush my trowel, bang, and do it that way when I'm troweling up, when I'm at that stage. And what else can it be other than that angle of your trowel and the stuff? But I would definitely try, if I was you, to maybe lay down with the same stuff and try not put as much gear on a big gauge. I don't know what you're doing, you said, it's hard to say. You might be, for all I know, you might be lashing a massive gauge on and then it will rip because you're not getting round to it quick enough. He mentioned he thinks it's timings. And timings is another issue. There's not a rule. There's not a rule in plastering that says, right, I've put it on, I'll give it 5 minutes and then I'll lay it down and then I'll give it 5 minutes, then I'll trail it up. It doesn't really work like that. It's ready when it's ready. And it's just experience and knowing when to hit it. And that goes back to my other point that maybe if you can find a plasterer to go with on a couple of jobs, you know, it would help you. Or you can come to me, come on one of my jobs if you want. Come and do that bungalow. Come and, if you've got a free day, come up and skim that bungalow with me. That'd make a good bit of content, wouldn't it? A subscriber comes. A subscriber comes. I can't even talk. A subscriber comes to give me a lift on a bungalow. and I'll show him what he's doing wrong. So I hope that answers a few questions. It's ready when it's ready, and it's just experience and feel and touch. And sometimes you'll know when you're going over it, so you put it on as quick as you can, as flat as you can. That's important. People, I've seen plasterers before lash it on any old way. Listen to the dog. The dog's in the back garden. I'm in the caravan. The dog's in the back garden and he's lashing up and down because the dog's gone past. Flipping idiot. Where was I up to? Yeah, I've seen plasterers lash it on, and then when they get round to lay it in, if that first coat's gone off and it's untidy, them lines that you've left in it will peer through you're laying in, and you'll take you longer to lay it in. So lash it on a decent coat, flat and neat as you can. You'll see me lash it on like that, and then you'll see me just neaten it up. And then when you lay it in, you'll need less stuff to lay in with. You go on very neat again. So it's my laying down is pretty much flat. I hope I don't come across as I'm blowing my own trumpet. I'm not. I'm just trying to give you advice. Give everyone advice. So then when you trowel it, you'll know you hit it at that point too early if you're taking too much off the wall. You know, if you're taking loads off, you're thinking, I'm not flattening it here. I'm not moving it round. I'm not flattening it. I'm just taking stuff off the wall. So you don't want to be doing that. And there's no real time between trowels. You could maybe trowel it a bit too early, and you'll know that because you're leaving too many lines. The lines are not really going less. But apart from that, I think that's when you'll be getting the ripping when you're trowelling up. If I'm thinking right, it's almost dry. It's almost too dry. It's drying, and you're going over it, and it's ripping. Maybe too much angle, but maybe not. I hand on heart think it's the multi-finish, pal. I can't think of anything else that you could be doing, especially if it's on boards. If it's on a high suction background, it can rip, but that's not necessarily. I mean, I get it ripping. Don't. It's not a bad thing. You're not doing anything wrong, I don't think. So I hope that helps you. So what you want to think about is it multi-finish? Don't worry about the timings. You'll know when to hit it. There's no time between lashing on and laying down and the first trowel. The only indication is that it's wet and you're taking too much off. Once you've flattened it the first time, the trowelling ups can come. I can hit it early sometimes, or I'll give it one and I'll go and have a chat, and then I'll come and give it another trowel, or I won't. I'll just do it and give it 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll hit it again. So I can hit it at different times. There's no real issue when you're troweling up. And then get one of these bad boys, because someone asked me about, in the video that I did, you'll see Liam did it with his trowels, and he finished with this Ox Ultraflex, and I did it with just trowels because someone had asked about what we did before these came in. So if you go and watch the video, this will make more sense. So you can hit it with this earlier because there's more flex in it. And because there's more flex in it, it gives you a better finish and more shine. So they are really good. Get yourself one. Another guy mentioned, again, I can't mention your name. I should write your names down and give you a plug, really. He mentioned about, he's working somewhere, which sounds like a flipping nightmare, with a shining a torch down the wall, and you're like, you can't do that. You can be the best plasterer in the world, and if someone shines, especially a halogen light down your wall, you'll see all the ripples. It's just what it is. So that is a bit ridiculous. There is an NHBC regulation. When I was on site, in natural daylight, a metre away, and I think the wife's sort of in the building industry, and she said it's now gone to 2 metres away, she thinks, because we're not getting plasterers as such. They're using these speed skims, you know, because it's money. The house builders want them built cheaper, so they're cutting the prices, and they're just trying to lash it on and make as much money as they can, which you can't blame them. I think if I was on site, I'd be doing exactly the same as you men. I'd be lashing it on, speed skimming it, and then troweling it, but I'm not going on site. The thought of it makes me shudder. But that's what you need to do if you're that's what you need to do if you're a young lad. Get on the site, get it lashed on, get the money earned. And then when you get to my age where you're not really capable of lashing it on like you used to, because it comes to you, but the experience takes over, doesn't it then you can go private like I did, just do private. So my revenue streams of work are about 3 or 4 builders, which is a bit quiet at the minute, mustn't be building a lot. The Guardian warm roofs, which is I do quite a lot of them. A window guy, he does extensions and conservatories and windows and patio doors and things like that. I do a lot of them for him. The general public, you know, just word of mouth, and that's where I get my work from. And I don't advertise. I don't need to advertise. That's why my number's not on. That's why DamsTV is not linked with my work. That's why it's not advertised. I don't want work off. I don't want work off YouTube. I think that wraps it up for today's first smooth finish. I've nothing else to say. I've run out of bullet points. I've got a little notepad there with bullet points on. So anyway, look out for next week's video. I hope you've liked it. Get in the comments. Oh, get in the comments and ask some questions for the next smooth finish and see what happens. Let's go from there. See if we can get some questions in that I can talk about, because I do need stuff to talk about. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.